What's the deal, everybody? Welcome back to the studio. Jeremy Dio here, and today is going to be a little bit more of like a BS session. We're going to talk about some things that I bring up in a lot of my videos, but I've never really dug deep into, and that is gear and updating gear, when to update gear, why you should update gear. I'm just going to talk about it for a little bit, so strap in and prepare to listen to this ramble. Let's go. All right, now the whole reason I bring this up is because if you've been following my channel for a while, you know I am constantly, like most of you, in the debate over gear, what gear I should use for the job at hand. And just to preface this, I am going to be talking about real estate photography and videography mainly in this, since that's what my channel is dedicated to. So if real estate photo and video stuff interests you, make sure to like and sub, all that jazz. But we're going to be talking about upgrading gear, and does your gear even matter for real estate photos or real estate videos? The tough answer is kind of no. I know, as someone who does reviews and tutorials and who is theoretically trying to sell you things, even though I'm not really, I'm just giving you honest reviews. The thing is that you don't need the newest, latest, and greatest gear to do real estate photos. Do you need something better than the phone in your hand? Probably, yes. But realistically, just any camera will do, especially in today's world where most people are sending off their images to an outsource editor anyway. I send out about 3/4 of my work to outsource editors now. Still not all of it, but it's slowly getting more and more. I did a lot of in-house editing before. That was very great, but the problem was consistency between all of the employee hires. So in order to make that consistency a little easier, we got an in-house editing team. If you're looking for an editor or editing team, you can DM me directly or send me an email, and I can give you recommendations for a team based around your budget and what you're looking to do. That being said, rambling on about gear, it doesn't really matter. Now, where this all starts was my search for a better photo camera. I was actually shooting with the Olympus OMD EM5 Mark II or something like that. Man, it's a really long initial. I bought this thing back in like 2015, 2016 maybe, and that's been my real estate camera until the A7 IV got released. I continually thought about upgrading and upgrading. When the A7 IV came out and my old Olympus finally broke, that's when I decided to make the change, because I already had a lot of Sony lenses anyway, especially that would match real estate. But did I need to upgrade? Even though I wanted to for years, looking back at it, probably not. I probably could have just repaired my Olympus and kept rocking and rolling. Can I notice the difference in my photos? Yes, for sure. Can my agents and clients notice the difference? Not at all. Not a single one. I mean, they notice the difference when I show up with a bigger camera and a larger polarizer on the front. It looks more professional, but the final outputted image looks very similar to the first. Now, what upgrading to the A7 IV did do for me is it decreased my workload on the back end. It allowed me to spend less time editing because the actual sensor in the camera is better, so it picks up more light and dark, so there was actually less post-production work to do. So did it make my images better? No. Did it make my workflow better? Yes. And this is where I come to the crux of this entire conversation and where I bring this up. Let's talk about how you yourself can determine if it is actually time to upgrade your gear. All right, so here we go. Here is the secret question to find out if you actually need to upgrade your gear or if it's just something you really want to do. I'll tell you at least how I do it for myself. I mean, it may not work for you, but this always works for me. And it's simply when I'm thinking about this piece of gear, do I think it's something that's going to vastly increase my work? Is it something like when I think about a red Komodo, like, oh, if I got that, my videos would be so much better? Well, the harsh reality is that if I got the red Komodo today, it probably would not be that much better than the videos I do with either my GH5S or my A7 IV. Like, granted, over the grand scheme of things, the longer I worked with the camera and got practical working knowledge of it, it would get better. And over time it would get better. But is it something I need to do right now? Is it an expense my business needs to take? That's the question. Like I said earlier, is it something that will vastly increase your output in your opinion? If so, then you probably should not buy that piece of gear, and I'll tell you why. If you think it's going to increase your output that much, a single piece of gear, then you probably do not have enough practical and working knowledge on the subject matter to make that decision rationally. Now, you can make it irrationally. You can be like, yes, I want that red Komodo right now because yes, I do. But that's an irrational decision. Rationally, will it increase the work and the workload that I'm doing now? Will it bring me more clients? Is it worth the money I have to put out to get the new piece of gear? That's the question I have to ask myself. And the answer is no. It's not yet in my business career. I'm not shooting that type of real estate videos yet to justify that red Komodo cost. Maybe next year I'll be to that point where I'll finally be shooting more luxury than traditional videos. But the harsh reality is that when it comes down to it, the red Komodo isn't even that great of a low light camera. So these small little dinky houses that are under 3,000 square feet that I'm doing videos of, they would probably look worse with the red Komodo, especially if I just got it and didn't know what I was doing with it. That being said, I've went back to shooting videos with my GH5S from my A7 IV, even though technically the colors are better with the A7 IV, and the A7 IV is by far the best camera I have ever personally purchased. I talk about it in a lot of my previous videos. The one thing it's not good for is the one thing I also need it for. Luckily, I bought the A7 IV strictly as a photo camera. I was replacing my main camera for photography, so it was an absolute sale for me. And I am so glad I made that decision because my workload has decreased in post-production, even though, as I mentioned earlier, it did not necessarily increase my image quality. That's the key difference. But when it comes to video, it does incredible. Anytime I have agents on video, I use the A7 IV. Where it does not shine is strictly environment and low light environment, specifically for real estate videography, because we want that 4K 60 so we can slow everything down and make it butter smooth. Well, guess what the A7 IV does not do very well? 4K 60. Not only is it extremely noisy, I've got the Loa 9mm because that's what everyone seems to go with. It requires a ton more post-production work than my GH5S actually does, and I don't know why that is. First of all, it has a heavy vignetting in the APC crop mode, I've noticed, so I've got to correct that in post, and there's lots of extra noise that the GH5S did not have in low light situation. There's lots of problems it actually had in my real estate content, so even after using this camera for 2.5-3 months for all of my real estate video work, I've actually gone back to using my GH5S. So I've gone back to an older piece of equipment because it honestly works better for the task at hand. You'll see other content creators and myself out there reviewing pieces of gear, new gear, old gear, it doesn't matter what it is. You don't have to buy that gear. These are just these people's opinion. I'm trying to keep my opinion as valid and level playing field as possible. If I don't think it's a good business decision for you, I'm not going to recommend it, even if they want to pay me to do so. Like Dehancer. Since I've started using the Dehancer plugin, I use it on everything. It has become a crucial part of my workflow, and that is why I'm doing the giveaway with them right now. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. All you got to do is submit a short film, Dehancer film contest. But either way, I digress. The point is that it doesn't matter how new the gear is if it does not suit your purpose. Don't feel like you need to upgrade just because you want to upgrade. Don't watch that new YouTube video and say, man, I really wish that I had that piece of gear, would make everything better, because realistically what makes things better is your actual practical and working knowledge of not only the camera and the scenario. If you want your photos to get better, continually practice taking photos. Don't go out and buy the newest camera, because that continuing practical knowledge is what's going to actually make your photos better. If you want to create better real estate videos, continually use your camera and figure out the sweet spots there is. There is a sweet spot for shooting on the A7 IV, and there is a sweet spot for shooting on my GH5S, and those only come around with working knowledge of the camera in hand. Even if you have to do photo and video of your own house 30 times, do what it takes to increase your working knowledge, because that is the real way to enhance your craft and your quality. As always, keep rocking and rolling. Enjoy what you're doing. Make smart business decisions. Maybe go check out that Dehancer film contest video. I would love to see some of you submit some cool stuff. Catch you next time.